Hello again, this is Graydon Davison, this time with a podcast on the assessment tasks for GSBR6002. The assessment tasks, called assignments, are designed with four purposes in mind. To get you thinking about discussing and contributing to your learning and that of other students about the issues in the readings. To get you thinking about practicing and demonstrating the discipline required for academic writing, to get you reflecting on and writing about the relationship between the personal knowledge and experience that you bring to the course and your learnings in the course, and to get you reflecting on and writing about how your learning in this course will relate to your doctorate. The tasks are designed to assess the progress of your learning at a particular stage of the course in content knowledge and the academic skills expected at that stage. You can see that the timing of the assessments is first laid out in the course schedule on page 10 of your course outline. You see also that the actual due dates will be posted on Blackboard. At the start of the trimester, you'll see these dates posted on the Blackboard calendar, and they'll be available on the Submit Assignments page in Blackboard as well. When you look at the assessments in the schedule, you'll notice that there is no exam in this course. Also, there are no assessable group tasks in this course. Every assessment is an individual task. However, you will be assessed on your contribution to and leadership of group discussions throughout the trimester. On page 12 of your course outline, at the top of the page, under the heading Assessment Items, you'll see more detail about the assessments. You can see what it is called, the learning outcomes it is addressing, the weighting, that is the total marks that are available for each task, when it is due, how it should be submitted, and whether or not you will have the task returned. Please note that Assessment 2 is in two parts. Under this table, you can see the specification for the assignment format. Please note that it is your responsibility to keep a copy of each assessment task that is submitted. The grading criteria table takes up the rest of page 11. Marks are given for each assessment, but grades are only given for the final result of a course. You can see in this table the ranges of marks for which particular grades are given, as well as a long description of each grade. HD means high distinction, D means distinction, C means credit, P means pass, FF means fail. Now let's have a look at the generic assignment layouts. Here you'll see a table format common to all three assignments. All of the information about the assignment is contained on the page: weighting, due, expected student output, learning outcomes related to the task. And under the assignment specification table is a table containing the basic assessment criteria. These criteria will become the standards for a marking rubric, a performance standard that you'll be marked against, that will be available to you on Blackboard. The really important part of the assignment specification table is the description of the assignment task, marked in red. Before you even start to think about undertaking the assignment, or any assignment for that matter, understand the task description. You can see that the task description contains one or more instructions. The closer you can follow these instructions, the better your chance of performing well in the assignment, and the lower your chance of performing poorly. So let's have a look at Assignment 1 in more detail. Assignment 1 is titled Online Discussions. And for this assignment, you're required to participate in discussion groups that will be established at the start of the trimester. Each group will contain 4 or 5 members. This assignment is a progressive assignment and continues through the trimester. It will be assessed and marked at the end of the trimester. At the end of week 5, I'll look at all contributions, and by the end of week 6, I'll reply individually to all students regarding their progress. I won't mark any discussions. This is just to offer any advice that I think might be necessary on the way through the assessment task, and so that you don't end up not understanding whether or not you're doing well until you get your final mark. While I won't be participating in the discussions, I will be reading them. If I notice anything glaring that needs some advice before week 5 or after week 5, I'll communicate directly with that student or those students concerned. The topics for discussion will be contained in or drawn from the readings supplied for each module, and other readings that you may wish to bring to the discussion. But there is some discipline required here. The primary reading is the one supplied, listed under prescribed readings in the course outline for that particular module. So while it's okay to bring other points from other articles, you need to keep the primary reading in mind. As well as participating in and contributing to the discussions, each student is, in turn, required to act as discussion leader. This will involve starting and moderating the weekly discussion. I'll nominate the first discussion leaders in week 1. The other discipline required here is to limit the length of your contributions when you make them. A maximum of 15 lines is quite adequate for a single entry. This is because you have to give others the opportunity to read and digest the point or points that you're trying to make or respond to. However, this doesn't mean that for any one weekly discussion you are limited to 15 lines. Assignment 1 helps you generate the groundwork for Assignment 2 and contributes to your preparation for Assignment 3. Now let's have a look at Assignment 2, the critical annotated bibliography, which is in 2 parts. Part 1 is on page 14 of your course outline and Part 2 is on page 15. In Assignment 2, you are in total required to produce a critical annotated bibliography for each of the readings prescribed in the course outline. This assignment is best attempted by building the bibliography weekly. My suggestion is that once you've had your discussions and you are forming some opinions and understanding the opinions of others on the discussion boards, that you start to keep a log or a journal and start to build a bibliography each week. In Part 1, you are required to cover the readings from modules 2 to 8. In Part 2, you are required to cover the readings from module 9 to 12. So look at Part 1 on page 14. You can see the same layout as Assignment 1. You can see weightings, due, expected student output, learning outcomes related to the task, and again under the specification table is a table containing the basic assessment criteria, which will be the standards for the marking rubric for this assignment. Note that these criteria are different to those used for Assignment 1. Look at Part 1. Here you see a list of the articles involved that you're building this bibliography on. You'll also see that each annotated bibliography, that is one for each article, has a word limit of 400 maximum. See also that there's a specification on what must be included in the annotated bibliography. So you're expected to include correct citations, an overview, an opinion on the strengths of the article, an opinion on the limitations of the article, an opinion on it raised by the author or authors, and the results described by the author or authors. An example of a critical annotated bibliography will be provided on Blackboard by the end of week 1. Part 2 of the assignment differs from Part 1 only in the journal articles you will work with. For Part 2, these are the articles from modules 9 to 12. All other parts of the assignment specification are the same as Part 1. And finally, let's look at Assignment 3, the personal learning reflection, which is on page 16 of your course outline. You can see the same layout as for assignments 1 and 2, parts 1 and 2. Weighting, due, expected, student output, learning outcomes related to the task. And again, under the specification is a table containing the basic assessment criteria, which will become standards for the marking rubric for the assignment. Note that these criteria are different from those used in assignment 1 and assignment 2. So let's have a look at the description of the assignment task. In this assignment, you are required to undertake a reflective report on your learning experience resulting from your contribution to and participation in the weekly discussion board forums. No more than 1,200 words. A description of reflective writing can be found in the student manual on the Blackboard menu, and an academic literacy module on reflective writing will be uploaded to Blackboard before the end of week 1. Before I finish, there are 4 more things I should tell you. The first is, when it comes to word counts, each one specified in this course is a maximum. You should not need to exceed it, but if you do, I will allow you to exceed it by only 10% of the maximum available. Anything you write after that limit, I will not read. 2, make sure you understand the assignment task before you undertake the task. And make sure you stay on track by going back to and checking your original understanding. Don't be afraid to change it if you have to. Sometimes what happens is that you generate a different understanding as you progress with an assignment. If you have questions, ask. Please ask. If you don't want to ask a question on the discussion board for whatever reason, email me directly. And finally, the job of the author is to lead the reader and keep the reader's attention. The easiest and most effective way to lead the reader is to use headings. The easiest structural method to keep the reader's attention is to break up the writing into logical paragraphs and sections. Do not force the reader to read large slabs of uninterrupted text. This is the easiest way to lose the reader's attention. So please remember, if you have questions, ask them. Good luck with your assignments, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.